And while we wait for Samurai to arrive, I'll jump into the Discord here in a moment. But we can run through. Here's where we'll start on this old school looking map. Um, and I'll explain some of this when everyone is here. But we'll run through the characters really quick and just give everyone a rundown of what we have in store for today, all the characters, before we begin. So we're going to start with the level 5 Forge Domain Cleric, which is really cool. Cleric that's kind of a worshiper of the like Forge god, very like dwarven inspired, in worshiping the gods of creating armor and weapons and cool stuff like that. And Brack is the, if you remember from the last episode of the Elder Council campaign, he's the main goblin leader. He was like the cleric who was kind of commanding the other little mini goblins, and he's a hobgoblin leader. So he's a forge cleric. He has a all of these characters have like magic items and stuff because they are themselves a level 5 party. He has a fate forged blade, which is like a +1 magic longsword. And then he's got his own spells and stuff. And the forge cleric, once per long rest, can imbue a weapon or armor with magic and make it a +1 weapon or armor, which is really cool. And if your whole party has magic weapons already, then you can give somebody essentially a +1 AC, which is really, really strong. +1 AC in this game is fantastic. So obviously they are all going to have dark vision, which will help a lot in this dungeon. Turn undead, always good. And then he's going to have some spells here, just like any other cleric, He's got guidance, toll the dead, light, word of radiance, dispel magic, elemental weapon, protection from energy, spirit guardians, really good. All the classic good, like offensive cleric spells. Toll the dead, spirit guardians, spiritual weapon, great stuff. And then some good healing and all that. So this is a great all around, like, half tank, half healer, like really, really great support type of a character that can take a lot of damage and dish it out as well. So I'm excited for our new player to be running Brack, the awesome cleric. We've also got Flack, the storm sorcerer, really cool subclass as well that I'm excited to check out. Storm sorcerer is like a lightning mage that kind of flies around the battlefield, and every time they cast a spell they can fly up to 10 feet and like imbue themselves with like the wind of the storm and fly around. It's really cool. Random British dude, welcome. Sorry I'm late. Lucy just beat the Resident Evil 2 world record. He beat it. Hell yeah. I was watching him last night play it and go for it. He got up to like 4th place. I'm so happy for him that he got the world record. I'm going to have to go and congratulate him at some point here soon. That's fantastic. If you guys haven't seen Lucy Lover, he's a fantastic streamer who plays a lot of Resident Evil, mostly horror games, speedrunning Resident Evil games. He's kind of branched into some Dark Souls and stuff. He's absolutely fantastic. Super, super nice guy. So he's wonderful, man. Let's see here. All right. Hello, everybody. 1 second here. All right, is everybody here?
Yeah, finally. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Well, hey, my bad. It's just certain things I can't get out of.
You're good, man. Don't worry about it. I'm glad that you're here. 1 second. Let me turn up the volume on our new member here in the Discord, just so everyone's equalized on the stream here. Let's see. Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Feargood, who's our new player, who's going to be playing in the main campaign, and we're introducing him here as Brack, the Hobgoblin Cleric, who's going to be joining us for this adventure. He's awesome. I met him through Crosshead Studios, which is that Patreon-based studio that makes all the awesome maps and stuff that we used for like our first dungeon in the campaign and everything. And Dr. Feargood is both a fan and kind of helps him make some maps and stuff too. So super cool guy. Anything you want to say or introduce yourself there, sir?
Not too much, but I am a little older, probably than the rest of you, but I started out playing basic and expert, started first edition, just started second edition, and took a long break until about a year ago, and I started back up playing fifth edition. So I'm really liking it.
Awesome. We are super stoked to have you. I hope you guys are all excited as well. I know that this is a abrupt change for everybody, losing a player kind of out of the nowhere and then quickly trying to rush to keep it all together. But I'm super excited for how it seems to be working out, and I'm really glad that we got someone that I think is going to mesh with the group really well. You got some experience, and you're actually excited to play in like a consistent weekly game. So we're super happy to have you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Samurai, how you doing, man?
Out of breath.
Yeah. Thanks for getting here, man. I'm sorry that you had to rush and get stuck in traffic and all that stuff, and I hope you're starting to feel a little better. I know you're going through the shit right now.
Yeah, it's basically, I can't hear anything for the most part, honestly.
Are you going to be able to hang with it? Are you all right?
Oh, no, we're cool. The pain's gone, actually. It just sounds like I'm underwater all the time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everything clears up quickly. And I've definitely heard, and I think Vampire was saying he got shingles in high school. So I've heard it's horrible, man. So I hope speedy recovery to you. Thank you so much for being able to make it still.
Oh, thanks, no problem.
Vampire, how's it going, man?
Yeah, that's rough, Samurai, dude. I feel for you, man. I hope it gets better soon. I'm doing good, man. I'm actually doing really good. Just did like late birthday shopping, so it was a good time with me and my mom and my sister. So
cool, man. I'm glad that you got to do that. Glad you're doing well. Let's get started here. I'm going through Flack right now. Samurai, we're just going through all the characters. I just showed off Brack, the Forge Domain Cleric, who's going to be played by our new member, Dr. Feargood. This is Flack, the Goblin Storm Sorcerer, who Vampire King will be playing as. Super excited. And finally, we've got Clack, the awesome Way of the Kensei Monk, which the Kensei style monk are the monks who specialize in their particular like monk fighting weapons, and I've given Clack a magic katana that he will be using as your like monk weapon, and I also gave you the Gale Wind longbow, which is another magic weapon. So hopefully you guys got a little bit of time to read through these a little bit and get familiarized with your characters. Were you all able to do that?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So if you have any questions or anything, I totally understand. It's going to be everyone's first time playing these, so it should be a little tricky, but we should be able to handle it. And like I was saying before you showed up, Samurai, this dungeon is or this adventure, it's called White Plume Mountain. It was released in 1979. It was released for old school like first edition D&D. It was written just to be ran as a one-shot thing, like not part of a campaign. You just go in, have fun, do the dungeon, and then you're done. So we're kind of just adding it in. It may take longer than this one session to complete, so I think we'll just play it for the next couple weeks until we finish it, and then we'll get back to the main campaign. So that will give me enough time to integrate our new character into the story and get him caught up on everything that's gone on so far. So if that's cool with you, that's what we'll do. Sound good?
Good to me, yeah.
Good to me.
Cool. Let's get started. So we enter on our main party. The Elder Council are leaving shore from Aegis, from the island that is in the like magical bubble hidden away from the Lich. And as they leave, Adam Tweed, the artificer on the island, realizes he forgot to tell the party about the ancient magical artifacts weapons that could be used to help in their fight against the Lich. And because of the pressing need to gather all of this stuff in time to go and fight him, he sends the Goblin Squad, the recent allies that you met on the island, to go and procure these weapons and bring them back for the Elder Council when they get back to the island from their next quest. So the Goblin Squad was sent to White Plume Mountain, an ancient volcanic mountain that was built up like this underground volcano spewed out lava, and it hardened over time into this giant cone. That it was rumored thousands of years ago that this wacky wizard hollowed out the mountain on the inside and built this crazy dungeon to home these weapons in that he had collected over the years of just being like a crazy evil mad scientist type wizard guy. And Adam Tweed, the artificer of Aegis, sent the goblins to get them, and he sent them with a note that, let me see here, all that they know about White Plume Mountain was just from the lore of the world and ancient writings, and this note that the ancient wizard left for any visitors who dared come and try to seek these magical weapons. So the note says, search ye far or search ye near, you'll find no trace of the three, unless you follow instructions clear, for the weapons abide with me. North past forest, farm, and furrow, you must go to the feathered mound, then down away from the sun you'll burrow. Forget light, forget life, forget sound. To rescue Wave, you must do battle with the beast in the boiling bubble. Crossed cavern vast where chain links rattle, lies Whelm, past water spouts double. Black Razor yet remains to be won underneath inverted ziggurat. That gamered think not that you're done, for now you'll find you're caught. I care not, former owners brave, what heroes you seek to hire, though mighty, I'll make each one my slave, or send him to the fire. And I will send you guys a copy of that if I can. Here, let me see if I can use the snipping tool.
Thank you.
Because that may be useful later with some secrets to the location within the dungeon of all of the artifact weapons and whatnot. So I'll send you guys a copy of all that right now. And let me see. So Adam Tweed gave all of you directions on where to go, and you take your little goblin rowboat and made it there. It wasn't too far away from the island that you're on now, across the desert and north through this barren wasteland. And I'm trying to find where I saved the note to. Hang on one second, everybody. Oh, God. Hang on 1 minute. Take another screenshot of it. So you get to the base of this mountain. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, I'm sending you all the copy of the note now. Let me know if you all get it. A little tricky to do all of these. It's on Discord as well, so check your Discord messages and you should get the notes. Welcome to the stream, Vex, Luca, Blitchy, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Button Mash, thanks for the lyric, man. All right. So you guys can read through that at your own time or whatever, and if you have any questions, let me know. So you take a couple days and adventure across this barren wasteland, and as you approach White Plume Mountain, you can see this volcanic plume coming out of the top of it, this steam. And Adam Tweed told all of you the only way into this mountain, it's fabled to be like a singular cave kind of in the center of the mountain, and it's like overflowing with this steam coming out of the inside where this volcanic activity still is constantly shifting and forming this pile into the giant like black mountain that it is. And you get up to the mountain. There's nothing really around it. It's kind of just like looks like this black volcanic rock that's shaped into this pile that's probably a good like 500 feet tall. It's not this giant mountain. It's just really like a volcanic object that's been crafted over thousands of years into this giant hollowed out cave mountain. And you get about halfway up it, and you come to the opening of this cave. And let me just tell you guys right now, because this is an old school adventure, I'm going to try to run it as like faithfully to the old school version as possible, but I have updated all of the combat and encounters to work with like 5th edition. But some of the things I'm not going to have like battle maps for. We're just going to do it like theater of the mind, if that makes sense. Like we're just going to talk things out, and then if you have something you want your character to do, you just let me know, and then we'll run through it like imagination style. But then if we get into like an actual battle, then we'll do it like on the grid. So if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you get up to the entrance cave of this of Black Plume Mountain, and let me see here 1 second, where I'm reading all of this from this adventure novel that was, or this adventure module that was written a long time ago. Okay. So it's almost a perfectly conical like volcanic hill formed from this like slow lava leakage. And when you get to the cave, you can see there's steam vents popping out of the top of the mountain, and the cave is like rushing with wind. And every so often the cave mouth, and this is called the Wizard's Mouth. Adam Tweed told you all this is the only entrance that you could find into the mountain, unless you like jumped into like the volcanic lava tube at the top. This is the actual way into like the creeping pathways to find the ancient artifact weapons within. And the cave itself seems to breathe every so often, exhaling a large cloud of this heated steam. And the steam will like whistle through the cave and shoot out towards you, and then it will inhale and get sucked back into the cave like at great speed, and just like create this big whistling of air. And as you enter the cave, the air like rushes by you, and it makes you feel really uncomfortable and super hot, but it's not like scaldingly hot. It's just like hot air. And the actual cave walls and everything are just like covered in like moisture that's dripping down, and the bottom of the cave floor is this like couple inch thick layer of muck and dirt and mud and grime and green algae and stuff from thousands of years of this like constant moisture blowing through, and monsters going in and out, and adventurers trying to go into the cave. And you get to the very back of this cave as you go in, and it's all just covered in this slick condensed steam, and the floor is covered with this muck. And you get to the very back of the cave, and you can see this crack in the ceiling that's maybe a couple feet across. And this is where the steam is just rushing in and out of, while the mountain kind of lurches and exhales this overheated steam. And you guys are in the cave now, and you're at the very back of it with this crack. What would you guys like to do?
I'm afraid.
So this is going to be like a standard like old school dungeon crawl, and it's like I said, this is a funhouse dungeon. It's not there's no major story plot thing at stake here. This is all just for fun. Like use your imagination, use your character's abilities. Like if you can think of something, try to do it. But a lot of this adventure and dungeon is going to be like exploring and thinking about like what you could do to solve these puzzles and stuff. Not all of it is just going to be like attacking and hacking and slashing. There's a lot of puzzles and that type of thing. So definitely put on your adventuring thinking caps. But yeah, you
That's
guys
fine.
are loose in the back of the cave, and you're standing in this muck with the uncomfortable steam rushing in and out, and you are at the back, and you see this crack in the ceiling and the slick cave walls around you.
How high is the ceiling?
It's about 10 feet high, so it's not super high. You guys are all pretty short goblins, and I believe all of you have dark vision, which is actually really helpful. So you can see pretty well in here. It would otherwise, like if you were all humans, it would be completely dark in here. Just a little bit of light from the outside. But you can see fairly well, and yeah, the ceiling's about 10 feet high with a couple foot crack with where this steam is rushing in and out of.
Maybe let's try to time it, and maybe you can leap out or leap at least to the crack to get out.
You look up and you can see that this crack in the ceiling is like it's a couple feet across, like a line, like a scar in the ceiling, but it's definitely not wide enough for anybody to crawl up in there.
Yeah, there's none.
Any ideas? Anybody? Vampire? Dr. Feargood? What are you guys thinking?
Uh, well,
Are there any rocks we can chuck at it around us?
Make a perception check, and all of you guys make a perception check. Go for it. And Feargood, you can make your make all your rolls in Roll20 just like normal, and I'll just read them off of there. That's all good.
okay.
Cool. Let me see. What is everybody's passive perception? Do you guys have that available on your character sheets there?
13.
Also, Grak, the fighter, is with you guys as well, so I guess I will make sure that he is rolling and all that too. So the full goblin squad is there. Okay. 13 passive persuasion. So as you guys look around, you're kind of sifting through this muck, and you notice like if you tried to run or like sneak at all, it would be very difficult. Like you're like wading through this like murky sludge and algae and muck at the bottom of this cave, and you're looking around, and you can see the crack, and you don't see any type of door or anything, and you heard that this was the entrance to this like this cave system, and you don't see any door. It's just like this smooth, like obsidian volcanic rock. And Clack, Samurai's character, you're Clack, correct?
Yep.
Okay, Clack, you are looking around to maybe see if there's a rock you can throw up into the crack and see if anything happens. And you look down, and you can see a little bit of this like silver ring sticking out, and you reach down to grab it, and you can pull on it, and this like barred trap door opens up from the ground, and you can see a spiral staircase leading down into the darkness.
I think we should go.
Yes. Me too.
I don't think there's much here.
So as the steam and air is whistling past you guys, you crawl down into the spiral staircase, and the door shuts behind you, and you get out of this like whistling, steaming wind for a second, and now it's a little bit cooler in this cave, and it's very dark down here. You guys can see with your dark vision, but it's very dim light, and it's almost all just black and white vision. And you see this spiral staircase goes down and down for hundreds of feet, it looks like. And you start to descend it. The staircase is badly rusted, and you can still hear this like continuous vibration from the geysers of the mountain, like constantly going off and recharging and going off again. And the whole mountain seems to just hum inside, and it keeps the air warm and humid, although the cave walls feel like cold stone, and it's very uncomfortable, the warmth and the cold darkness at the same time. And you get to the bottom of the staircase, and it's about a foot deep of this slippery mud, murky sludge water at the bottom of this staircase. And you let's see, At the bottom of the staircase is a passage that's the whole floor is still covered in this murky water. And now if you guys look on the map on Roll20, you'll be right at the base of that thing. The little wheel on the map where the character is at is the spiral staircase, and you're now in this little hallway. And the way that this map works, I will zoom out on it really quick. If you guys look on the stream side of things, this is a whole map of the entire place, which it won't spoil anything, you guys being able to see it. And you can see how old school this is. This is pages that were scanned from the book from 1979. That this is the only way to get this digitally now. But this is the whole dungeon, and we're starting at this little hallway here, the entrance with the spiral staircase. And this is like the over map. So each one of these squares is not the normal grid square, like 5 feet. They're all like 10-foot squares just to travel on. And then if anything happens in an individual room or square, we'll zoom in on it, and there will be a battle map or an encounter map for that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this one character, this will just represent the whole party traveling through the big map of the dungeon. And then if you look on the stream here, if any encounters happen, we will show them on this encounter map that's kind of one individual section of the tunnels and stuff in the cave, if you can see that there.
Okay.
Makes sense? And I'll switch you guys on Roll20 over to that map page as well, if that does indeed go down. So you find yourselves at the base of this staircase. You descend all the way down, hundreds of feet down, and gets darker and murkier down here, and you finally step off the bottom of the staircase into this foot deep like sludge, and it's quite high up on all of you. You're all goblins except for Brack, who is the hobgoblin, the slightly taller and more stout of the group of you. And let me see here. The very hardy Grack, the fighter of the group, he says, well, there seems to be only one path, and it's forward down this hallway. What say you all?
I say we go.
Onward and upward.
All right. So you begin to traverse down this hallway, and what we're going to do here as everything, the travel goes on this over map, these squares will essentially count as 10 feet throughout the dungeon, I suppose. And back in the day when people were like adventuring through the overworld or in a dungeon, you would do like random encounters of like the monsters and stuff that were living in this dungeon. Occasionally you would run into them, and they would be patrolling or lurking in the areas. So every 30 feet, so every turn in like real time or whatever, we'll roll on the random encounter table and see if you guys run into anybody. So you can see to the end of the hallway, and you can see that it just ends in a blind corner that you can't see around, and you begin trudging through this mud, and you get about halfway down this hallway, and I'll roll for the random encounter. I got one. So you get about halfway down, and you realize that the floor and this murky liquid that you're trudging through, this like mud and stuff, and the walls, all of them are just like, the further down you get, there's a little bit more light coming close, like from around the corner, and all of the walls and floor begin to turn into this greenish, like vivid green colored, like fungal algae that you can see. Make a perception check again, everybody. Okay, so Brack, you take a second and you start to see that this changed from this just like kind of gross sludgy mud into like an actual living like fungus and algae kind of covering everything, and you check it out, and it seems to just be like a harmless like algae growing on the water and just taking advantage of the the peaceful cave and nutrients in the water and everything. But as you continue on down the hallway, you see from behind the corner, you're kind of making a lot of noise. It's hard to stay stealthy, trudging through this mud. Every step you take is like this sloshing, squishy sound, and it's you're goblins. You're naturally kind of just like gabbing at each other, and like it takes a lot of energy to trudge through this mud with how short you all are. And around the corner peeks an ogre, and he begins to charge at all of you, and that's initiative. So everybody roll. Let me get ye old ogre pulled up here. Cool. 24 and 4. All right, very nice.
It's all you, samurai.
Let me switch you guys over here. Tell me if this works on your screen. You can see everything okay?
Yes.
On your roll 20s?
Yes.
Cool. So you see you're kind of lurking down this hallway, and you can see the green floor where this fungus algae is starting to cover everything. And from around the corner, you see the ogre appear. And let me place this guy here. Sorry, it's a lot to run everything in the stream and the Roll20 all at the same time and have these random encounters. So he pops up on the map, and he's bigger than that. He comes from around the corner. This big old ogre. And he's rushing towards you. And he did not do very well. Okay. Looks like Mr. Clack, the monk. So the 4 characters here, if you can see them on the map, I figured it would be, if you can see the cursor on the stream here, the one that I'm moving around right now, with the like long staff, that will be you, samurai. That's the monk with his like staff, even though you don't have a staff. Like that's just the token for the monk. The one in the middle making a silly pose, that will be the sorcerer. So vampire, that's you in the middle on the top there.
All right.
The one with the shield that's green will be the cleric. So that's you, Fear Good. That'll be
Okay.
you. And then the one on the bottom will be the NPC character that I'm playing as, Grak. He'll be the fighter for you guys. So.
So my avatar is always going to be that guy laying down.
He's supposed to be standing up and like making a silly pose, but he just looks like he's laying down because he's not like
he's laying
top,
down and making
top
a
view. Yeah.
I thought we already lost somebody.
Yeah. No, he's just standing
I'm
there.
intimidating him. It's intimidation tactic.
You're a storm sorcerer, so your special ability, like you can fly around, so maybe you're just flying and you're like horizontal in midair.
Yeah, I'm just like laying on my back in the air.
You're just like so relaxed in this dungeon that you don't even care that there's an ogre.
Yeah, I'm just like 5 or 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah, which is nice because you're avoiding all of the muck and stuff, so that's good. So it's gonna be the monk Clack samurai. You're up first, man. What do you got? And remember, the squares are about 5 feet apiece, so you got a little bit of room to play with here. But the ceilings are only about 10 feet tall, and this ogre, he comes around the corner and he is completely filling up this space. He's like hunched over and barely fits in this room.
I guess I could just switch to my Gale longbow.
Yes, you do have a ranged weapon, and everyone. For our new member here, remember I'm pretty lax about this stuff. If you have a weapon and you want to switch to the other one in combat, it's fine. I don't want to like make people have less fun and like ruin the flow of the game by making people like use their actions to switch and stuff like that. But if you want to do like, I want to attack with my bow and then my sword and then my bow, like then we'll get into some like using your actions and whatnot, but no worries for now.
Right. I guess I'll just take a shot at it.
Cool, man. Yeah, roll the hit.
Just to clarify, that's the D20 plus whatever my efficiency is with it, right? Or whatever the attack is with it.
Yeah, and your character sheet, I can pull it up on the stream here. You are Clack, and it should show you, like, you can just click on the bow, and it's +8, so you don't have to add anything. Like, it's going to be a D20 +8 because you're proficient, and it is your dexterity, I believe, which is a 4, so your dex plus your proficiency bonus plus it's a +1 bow, so it gets +8. So,
all right.
But you can just click on the weapon itself, and it should roll it for you. 13. So you're standing in this muck, and you guys were all kind of just like slowly making your way through and looking at this algae and kind of like scoping out this thing, and you just barely see the light at the end of this hallway, and the ogre starts charging at you and making this like guttural like grunt, and he's sloshing through the mud pretty quickly, and you quickly, like, you had your bow kind of ready because you're in a dungeon and you're like worried about stuff already, so you're ready for it, and you fire a shot and you actually hit him. Roll damage. It sticks into one of his legs as he kind of like lumbers his big tree trunk legs forward, sloshing through the mud.
That's 6 damage.
Cool.
Freaking long.
Yeah, you fire a shot at him, and it sticks into his leg, and you can actually see it, like, it hit in pretty good, and some blood starts to pour out of his leg.
I'm just so happy to have a bow.
Yeah, so between, let's see, Brack and Flack, which one of you guys would like to go next? It's up to you. You can decide amongst yourselves. You both tied on initiative, so.
If you can go ahead, that's fine.
Okay, Sorcerer Flack, it's all you. You see your companion fire a bow shot, and you figure you have a little bit of time to take a turn before this ogre gets upon you.
Well, this ought to slow him down. I'm gonna cast what's it? Ray of Frost.
Cool.
On his feet. I don't know if it'll like help freeze the mud, but I'm just trying to slow him down because it will reduce his speed by 10 till the next turn.
Okay, very nice.
So how do I spell attack? I've never.
You should be able. Let's check it out. You should be able to just click on it in your. Yep, you can just click on it in your character sheet there. Ray of Frost, boom, and it'll be the one on the left. It automatically rolls 2 in Roll20 in case you have advantage, which right now you don't. So it's just the one on the left, which is a 13, which after firing it off, you realize was enough. You shoot it down this hallway, and there's not a room for error, but there's not a lot of room to miss either. This ray kind of just shoots right down the middle of the hallway and kind of blasts him right in the center, and it actually stops him for a minute. He was kind of barreling towards you guys, and he stops, and he begins to like slow down quite a bit. Roll your damage there. And you let out your little goblin shriek. What is the damage for Ray of Frost? Let me check that out really quick. 2d8 cold damage. Very cool. All right. So yeah, you fire it off, and you hit him for 12 now, which, let me see, he's taken 18 total. And it slows him down by 10 feet for his next turn, you said?
Yeah, 10 feet until, like for one whole turn. Cool.
So you see this ogre start to slow down a little bit, and he's still trudging towards you through this murky sludge. And Brack, you feel inspired to kind of get the edge on this guy, and it's your turn.
I'm going to shoot my light crossbow.
Cool. Yeah. Roll your attack roll.
It is a 8.
Okay, that you pull up the light crossbow, and kind of you see your companions firing off their spells and shooting at him, and you hurry up and draw your crossbow, and you fire off a shot, and it kind of like whizzes past his shoulder as he like hunkers down and starts to barrel towards you guys. And he like finally he brushes all this off and rips this arrow that that Clack shot at him out of his leg, throws it over his shoulder, and he just like bears down and starts running at you. And he seems like he is slowed from his natural movement speed, but he gets right up on you guys real quick. And he goes right for the guy who he just saw shoot magic out of his hands. And he takes a big old swing at you. Oh, 1 second here, guys. I think we may have just got a sweet raid. Thank you very much, Flim, for the raid. Much appreciated, my man. Welcome to the stream, everybody from Flim's channel. I hope you had a wonderful time over there and hope you had a good stream, Flim. Back to the action here. Okay, so the ogre, he has this great club that he was kind of dragging it through the muck as he was charging at you guys. And he takes a big ol' crack at Mr. Flack. And he rolled a 7 to hit. What is your AC, Mr. Flack?
Well,
he takes a big old swing and it just splashes mud everywhere, and it covers you guys in this disgusting algae and murk. But he did.
We were almost out of this place.
he did miss, and it is now Grak's turn, and he will run up and try to. Let's see. This is dark, or not dark. This is what is it called? When it's hard to move through stuff. I can't. The word is escaping me right now. This is difficult terrain. Okay. 5, 10, 15. So you can only move about half your regular movement speed. So he just barely gets up on side of the old ogre here, and Grak will take a big old swing with his mighty greatsword, and rolls a 19. Oh my goodness. Okay, a 19 for Grak, because he is a champion subclass fighter, is actually a critical hit because he crits on a 19 or a 20. So he gets to roll twice the normal number of die here. So 1 second. 7, 12, 18. All right, he takes a big old swing and cuts right into the side of this ogre and hits him for 23 damage. And the ogre immediately like grabs his side and realizes like, oh, it's not just this guy shooting magic. This is like a whole, this is a whole thing. And he starts to get a little freaked out. He's gushing blood now out of both of his leg and his side. And it's back to Mr. Clack, the monk.
All right. I'm switching to my fancy katana.
Your fancy katana, very nice. Yes, you are trained. This is your spiritual monk weapon. This is the weapon that you have spent like 10,000 hours to become a master of. It's part of your body, essentially.
It resonates with my soul.
Absolutely. You're the Kensei monk with your katana.
I'm gonna chop, chop, chop. Aim for his hand, not with the club.
Absolutely. You hit him, 17. Yeah, roll your damage, man.
Nah, I can't do that.
No, you just rolled another hit, yeah. If you guys have any questions about abilities or anything, feel free if you want to use them or whatever. Ooh, 10, very nice. All right, you swipe at his hand, the one with the club you said?
Yes, sir.
You swipe down at his hand with the club and you connect with his wrist, and you can see his wrist just like shatter, and he drops the club and he like hurriedly tries to pick it up with his other hand, and he's like fumbling down in the murk now, and his wrist is like totally like cut in half almost. You got about halfway through his like thick ogre arm before he dropped the club and kind of pulled it away from your sword, and you did a big chunk of damage, and he's looking rough now. He's bleeding out all over the place, and it's back to Flack.
That was a little sloppy cut. Sorry, guys.
Good job, boys. I'm gonna use my Fury of the my Nimble Escape to use Disengage as a bonus action.
Very nice. Okay.
Just back up 2 squares.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast a Firebolt.
Firebolt, which is another cantrip?
Yes, another cantrip.
Cool.
I do it right on his noggin.
Nice, yeah, go for it. And for anybody watching or in the party that doesn't know cantrips, are the spells that spellcasters get to cast just for free all the time. Like they don't take any resources to cast, so that's kind of their basic attacks instead of their weapon attacks like a melee class would use. That's an 8 to hit, so your firebolt goes shooting past his head and kind of disappears into the algae on the wall past him.
Okay, I'll just still use my tempestuous magic since it's free.
Sure.
And oh wait, no, I can't because I already used my bonus action.
Oh, it's a bonus action to tempestuous to fly. Okay.
Yeah, it just let me fly, but yeah.
Cool.
That's my turn.
All right, it's back over to Brack.
I'm kind of upset that I missed, so I'm going to swing my sword.
Heck yeah, and you have a magic sword called the Fate Sword, the Fate Forged Blade, or something like that.
Yes.
Cool.
Fate Forged Blade. It's a +1.
Very nice. It's like a divine infused Fate Forged sword made by your god of the forge for being such a loyal servant. And you take a big old swing at him, and you clang it into the ground beneath his feet, and he kind of is like, you see him visibly like let out a sigh of relief. He's like taking all these big hits from everybody. He gets a second to catch a breather, and he reaches down and he grabs that club out of the murk. And do you have any other actions for your turn? Any bonus actions or anything?
Let me check real quick. No.
Okay. He will take a swing at the guy who just essentially severed his hand, and he turns his attention towards Mr. Clack here and takes a big old club swing at you.
Let's not be too hasty, guy.
And that is a 14 to hit.
AC 16.
He's like, what does AC mean? And then he
It means my naked body can't be hit.
That is a cool thing about the monk. You don't have to be wearing armor to be a super badass.
Moved up.
He swings and misses, and it smacks into the wall, and it kind of vibrates the wall, and you can hear all of this clanging, and it like is in tune with the like natural vibration of the caves with the geysers erupting, and it's kind of shaking and rattling you guys, and it's a little intimidating. And then Grack swings his big great sword at this ogre's back that is now exposed when he turned his attention to you. And he misses. Oh my goodness. He takes a big swing, and as these vibrations are happening, it throws him off balance, and he swings and kind of stumbles over onto one knee and has to hastily picks himself back up. And I forgot last round, this Grack actually has an extra attack because he's a level 5 fighter. He's going to swing again. This time he's going to hit, just a regular hit, no crit this time. So 2d6. And he's a little bit weak. He's going to hit him for 5 damage. And he rakes this sword across the ogre's back and just kind of cuts open a little bit of a slice, and he starts to kind of stream a little bit of blood out of his back, and he is like pouring blood from his entire body now. He's looking real roughed up. And it's back over to Mr. Monk.
He seems to be a little huffier than I thought he was.
He's a big boy.
Should I go all out, guys?
What you gotta do?
I love your goblin voice.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna chop again. And chop one more time.
All right. Hey, I'm glad you had a good stream, Flim. Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, go ahead and roll your chop. Oh, a super chop. Roll your damage and tell me how exactly your character would like to absolutely destroy this ogre.
I'm gonna raise my katana over my head, two-handed overhand slice, and I'm gonna finish what I started with his wrist.
Yep.
And just as I'm coming down through his wrists, I'm gonna flick my wrist upside down to the katana's and upward motion and drag it across his chest.
Ooh, okay. So he's kind of stumbling around. He got hit in the back. He is like reeling and trying to handle this like assault from 4 different people at once, and he's like taking all these heavy blows, and you overhand the katana, bring it down, and quickly flick across his chest, and it's his hand just like falls off. You hit it with the sword and then go across his chest. His hand falls off. He looks down at his like stump of an arm that where his hand used to be, and then slowly you see the top half of his body slide off of the lower half of his body, and both slump over and disappear into the murky algae mud below, and he is dead.
Victory is ours, my friend.
The first
of many.
The first battle of White Plume Mountain has been completed. Very nicely done.
Yeah. So nice being able to kill things up close.
Heck yeah, man. I'm really happy that you guys all picked characters that were kind of different from the normal characters, so you could get into everything like this and try out some different stuff. I think that's one of the most fun things about D&D is getting to play all the different classes and stuff, so I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. So you so you get back on your feet and get your bearings back, and this ogre collapses, and you're about halfway through this hallway, and you start making your way back. You see the light coming from around the corner, and you trudge on your way. If you see on the stream or on the map this like yellow smudge and stuff, like this module for sale, like legitimately for sale by Wizards online, is pages scanned from this book from 1979. Like there is no actual digital copy of this. It's like these are pictures of the real book, and the best copy of this book had like stains on the pages, which I really think is funny and really makes you feel like you're actually playing this adventure from 40 years ago, which is really cool. So yeah, the yellow smudge on the map is not actually anything on the map. It's like from the picture of the crappy page that they got. So you get up to the corner of this hallway, and you've trekked through the muck, and will continue to trek through the muck as this entire floor seems to still be covered with it. You get around the curve of the corner, and you can see all the way down this hallway another good 30, 40, 50 feet down. It seems to be this forking path, and you can see it split off to the left and the right, and you can't see really anything past those hallways, but you can see all the way down the middle hallway. It seems to get to an opening into a larger room, and you can see the murky water kind of start to flow out into this bigger room, but you can't really make out what's in there because it's so dark and your vision only goes for so far. But there is a little bit more light illuminating this hallway, and your vision is more colorful now. It's not just this gray and black dark vision, and you can see, but you just can't see that far. You can just see pretty much to where the pathway begins to branch out, and then it gets darker from there. What do you guys like? What would you like to do?
I say we go forward.
Did all of his body sink into the ground? I just want to check it out for a second.
Make an investigation check. Cool. So you come around this corner, and after seeing this, like the ogre that you killed sink into the mud, and like you're trudging through this stuff, you think like, what else could be hiding in here? And you reach down into the mud, and you can feel like on the floor, it's like a good like 8 to 12 inches. It's like almost a foot deep of this murky, watery mud covering the whole place, and the walls are like dripping this mud into the ground. And you reach down, and you can feel some rocks and pebbles and stuff, and you don't feel anything like reaching out or any more bodies or anything. And you kind of like run your sword through the water, and it doesn't crash into anything other than like a pebble here or there. It seems to be all clear. And you can see further down the hallway, the water starts to clear up a little bit. It looks like it starts to become less muddy and murky, and more like just kind of this condensation from the steam of the mountain is just like turned it into kind of like a little water covering the floor.
Is it weird to you guys this giant ogre was just down there?
I mean, a lot of things are weird in this world. I mean, isn't there a giant lich trying to kill everybody?
This is true. You're right. You know, I shouldn't really question things like that. Giant.
I just stopped questioning things a long time ago. You just accept things and you move on. You know, you get the gold and you move on.
Absolutely. So as a little bit more time goes on, the random encounter roll happens and nothing seems to happen. You kind of sit at the corner here and you're thinking about this and you pose the question, Clack, like, isn't it weird that there was just an ogre standing here and you seem to wait for a second to see if there's anything else going on, and all seems clear. So you guys begin to trudge forward after Flack says, you know, stop worrying about it. Let's get out of here. And you all move forward another 30 feet or so as you can do in a short amount of time, and you get to the this three-way fork in the road, this three-way branching segment, and as you almost step into the area where the tunnel splits, this wall of force, this like glowing, shimmering wall of light in front of you slams down and blocks your path forward. And you all kind of bounce into it, and as you touch it, it's like very calming feeling and warm, and it's nice. The water around the bottom of it seems to shimmer and kind of be pushed away a little bit. There's actually a gap at the bottom of this wall where you can see the floor, and it's just a smooth stone floor that's been carved out of this obsidian, and you can see the walls around are actually carved, like someone took magic or tools and actually carved all these tunnels into the mountain. And beyond this shimmering light wall, you can see a sphinx appears sitting in this branching pathway. And the sphinx reaches out to all of you, and as it appears, it's like very like soothing and celestial voice sitting there. It says, round she is, yet flat as a board, altar of the lupine lord, jewel on black velvet, pearl in the sea, unchanged but ever changing eternally. And then it just begins tapping its foot on the floor and kind of splashing in the water and looking at you, and it raises a paw up and starts to like stroke its chin a little bit, and then starts to paw at the water again, and it's tapping its foot and kind of cocks its head at all of you, looking to see what you say.
Are we supposed to guess that? I asked the Sphinx.
As you say that, it opens its eyes widely and it kind of smiles and nods its head a little bit at you, and it's like, wow, you figured it out, genius.
It's no need to be mean, okay? I mean,
It didn't actually say that, it just gave you that look like,
oh, okay.
it gave you the look like, I'm a sphinx, what do you think you're supposed to do? And it's just tapping its foot on the floor. If you guys want to hear the riddle again, let me know. I can repeat it.
Please.
Yeah.
All right. Round she is, yet flat as a board, altar of the lupine lord, jewel on black velvet, pearl in the sea, unchanged but ever changing eternally.
What's the last part again? I'm sorry.
I'll just repeat the whole thing again. You guys feel free to like talk it out and try to think of any ideas, spitball it around, whatever you guys think. Round she is, yet flat as a board, altar of the lupine lord, jewel on black velvet, pearl in the sea, unchanged but ever changing eternally.
Oh, I guess it's one of those kind of dungeons.
Yeah, you did say that.
What do you guys think?
Oh,
What's a lupine?
I think it's like a dog.
Yeah, so
That's what I'm thinking.
you would know, or your character, I guess, would know like common dialect. Lupine is like of wolf or dog origin, right? So, Altar of the Lupine Lord.
So it seems like we're looking for this Lupine Lord. You guys agree?
So this is just meta. Like, this riddle doesn't have anything to do with like this dungeon. This is just like sphinxes are they just like fucking with people, and it's asking you to solve this riddle before it will let you pass. It just wants to know what this riddle is talking about.
What's the odds that we can bop this in the face, guys? Anyone know how strong sphinxes are usually?
Brack, make an intelligence check.
I think I know.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and try to make your guess.
Is it the moon?
As you say that out loud, the Sphinx it lifts up one of its fingers with the claw that's been like patting the ground and stroking its face and all of that, and it just smiles at you and taps on the wall, and then the Sphinx and the wall disappear.
Awesome.
And the path forward is revealed. So yeah, it was the moon. That's a very classic old school puzzle there, riddle. Round she is, yet flat as a board. Altar of the Lupine Lords. So the altar of the Lupine Lords, which would be like the thing that the Lupines worship, would be the moon, like a wolf howling at the moon. And then the pearl in the sea, the moon glowing in the reflection of the water. So nicely done. You figured it out. So you guys, this Sphinx just disappears ethereally as it appeared, and you step forward into this triple branching pathway, and you can see down each hallway about the same amount of distance, and you can't really make out what's down any way.
Oh, just in time too. That thing was starting to creep me the hell out.
Out of character, if I'd gotten the wrong way, what would have happened to me?
Essentially,
started to take a step back.
Just to, in the sake of like progressing the dungeon, your character would be able to make like an intelligence check, and I think on like a fairly high DC intelligence check, one of your characters would have been able to figure it out.
Okay.
If you guys would have tried to like take down the wall or attack the Sphinx, it totally would have like destroyed you guys.
All right.
Good to know.
Maybe it's definitely possible you could have killed it, but it definitely would have been a fight instead of just a little riddle. So nicely done.
So what are you guys thinking? Straight, right, or left?
I don't know, boys. You want to go?
Have in mind.
Want to go to the right?
I know an old riddle. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Right doesn't look too bad to me. I mean, can't really tell by where we're standing anyway, so
Can't see
that one
it.
smells better.
To the right?
Right toe.
All right, so you guys stand there, and in your genius goblin ways, you kind of come up with a mixture of eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and all of you kind of just like stumbling around before Flack finally just is like, we're going to the right, and you guys start walking that way. And you start walking down this hallway, get another 30 or so feet down the hallway, and this is where the actual page of the book, like this was on 2 pages, so this is the like crease in the middle of the pages here. So you get about halfway down this hallway, and a large patch of this green slime, the algae and moss that's been covering the walls and floor so far, this large patch of green slime, you can see that it's much more vivid than the rest of this algae that you have come across so far. And I need you all to make a perception check for me.
17.
Very nice. 22. All right. So as you guys are walking, you get about halfway across this like much more bright and vivid patch of this algae and stuff. And as you walk across it, Clack, you brush one of your arms up against the wall on accident. You kind of just like you're all stumbling through this corridor together, and you bump into the wall, and your elbow, where it hits the wall, like you look down and the skin begins to dissolve off of your elbow, and it starts burning. And this green slime drops off of the ceiling and attacks, and it is initiative. And for this one, we're just in the same type of corridor as the last battle map. Just imagine that. We won't have a battle map this time. It's just like a minor encounter. And it's more like a skill challenge. Just tell me what you're going to try to do to kill this green slime that is attacking you and has begun to try to dissolve you. Let's see here. Let me write down everyone's initiative here.
We're all high rollers.
Yeah. Oof.
At least it's not damage rolls.
Right. Okay, so first up is going to be Flack. You try your hand at... You see the slime kind of slump off of the ceiling, and Clack grabs at his elbow that starts to dissolve, and you see this slime fall down, and it's on you.
Smells like what I left in the camp last night.
Well, that's not right. I thought we ate all that. All right. See what we can do. Ray of Frost.
So I throw out another one.
Oh man, very nice.
Is that a crit?
I don't know what happened. Okay, yeah, it was a crit. 20 plus 3 plus 3. Very nice. So you crit. So roll your damage dice doubled, and then add your spellcasting modifier to it. So 4d8
What's my
plus
spellcasting modifier?
charisma is sorcerer instead of intelligence or whatever. So
so I add that to my damage.
4d8 plus your charisma. Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll start doing that. So we got...
When you click on your Ray of Frost damage normally, it will add your charisma automatically. But if it's a crit, you have to roll twice the damage dice, so you kind of have to do it yourself. So
that...
19?
Yeah, that would be... Yeah, 19.
Cool. So you... this ooze drops down off of the ceiling, and as it drops down, it ripples and bounces, and then it kind of bounces back up and forms into this solid gray cube, and it's like floating on the top of this murky water towards you, and it's like you can see it dissolving the algae on the floor as it comes across, and you shoot this ray of frost at it, and it freezes solid, and I
use my bonus action to tempestuous magic myself like above, so it doesn't touch me.
Okay, so you shoot this ray of frost, and you like conjure this gust of this like steam and wind inside the caverns, and like billow yourself up into the air above the ooze, and you freeze it solid, and it takes a second, and it's sitting there, and then it shatters and falls into the water below. That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah, it seems to be gone. It's dissipating, and the ice chunks of your ray of frost begin to evaporate and melt into the murky water that you're all standing in.
Disgusting.
Anything you guys want to do in this spot? You're continuing down this corridor. It all seems to be quiet at this point after the ooze has been dealt with.
I don't know, guys. This place is pretty weird. We've run into an ogre, some random talking space that wants to give us a riddle.
If you want to leave,
some
you can
ooze.
leave. I got a job to do. Okay.
We all got jobs to do. I mean, this is pretty dangerous, to be honest.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
And
You're gonna work for the Lich? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Meta, this
I already have to get
I'll
off
still stay
insurance.
here.
just for Brack, for our new character, you your character was introduced in the last episode of the stream, and I'll catch you up on everything in the next couple weeks before we get back to the main storyline. But Brack is the hobgoblin leader of this goblin squad, and they were also all teleported into this apocalyptic world from normal Faerun, where they were kind of just these criminal goblins. And now Brack has shaped them into this noble squad of goblins that all work together to do good things. So you're kind of the ragtag leader of this bunch, Brack, as you're the holy cleric man who tells them all what to do because God told you so.
Okay.
They're always like that.
So you're all standing in this corridor, and you can see at the end of this hallway, you can see a door. Let me see.
Approach the door.
You guys want to continue on?
Yes.
Okay, you get to the end of this hallway. Let me roll the old dice here. All good. You all get to the end of the hallway and approach this door, and you open it up, or if you would like to, and let me pose that to you. You get to the door. What would you guys like to do?
Knock.
You're seriously gonna knock on that?
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
And so we've seen some weird stuff. Can I just do some normal things from now on?
That's not normal at all. Wait, what? We're in a dungeon.
And people have manners in dungeons as well.
You think it's gonna answer the door? Another ogre? Is he gonna be
Could
happy?
be the Sphinx with another riddle.
Why wouldn't we want the edge of knowing of them not knowing we're there? What?
I'm confident in our combat ability.
All right,
Nothing
You're
in here has
first.
been nice to us.
you guys are standing here, and Flack is trying to impart on you the knowledge of strategy and stealth, and you kind of you're listening, but you slowly are stepping away, and you pound on the door real quick. And it's a big oak door, about as wide as the hallway, maybe 8 by 8. It's a slightly smaller set into the stone. This big oak door with iron rivets around the side, and it seems to have 2 rings that opens up like a double doorway. And you pound on it, and let me see. I will roll the random encounter die again to see if anything notices you guys pounding on this door. You wait a couple moments, and all seems silent.
No more knocking.
See? So no one's even there. We can just open the door with a handle?
It's got 2 knocker type rings, and you could pull on one to open the door.
Shall we pull, buddies?
I'm sure there's
just
nobody
walks
there.
over and grabs it and just opens it.
Cool. Yeah, you pull on the door and open it, and it's just more tunnel and hallway.
Oh my god.
It does seem to be lighter in here. You notice that you can pretty much see everything fully in here now.
Okay, now we've confirmed knocking doesn't work, so we're just never gonna do it again. Okay. All right.
And it seems like it worked. It seems like it worked pretty well. Nothing.
We established that there's no one there, and we can proceed without caution.
All right, so you guys step into this hallway, and you see that it's just more of the hallway, and you make it down to a fork where it curves in the tunnel. You can see to the left it goes on for quite a long ways, and there's another door, and then you can see a corner up above you, in front of you, I should say. Maybe 20 feet up ahead, there's a corner that turns.
We might as well continue to go right.
Yeah, we'll have to hit a dead end, or at least the entrance again, if we keep going right.
Exactly.
So you guys figure you just want to clear out everything and explore before you have to double back?
Yeah, double back or something double backs on us.
Yeah.
Okay, you continue moving forward. You move around the corner, and the water is kind of beginning to lessen up a little bit. It's not quite as deep. It's maybe only 6 inches deep in here, and you're having a little bit easier of a time trudging through now. You walk around the corner, and all seems clear. You get to just more hallway, and you can see another door at the end of it.
I really need to just do this every time. I'm the sorcerer. I'm literally the sort. We have a cleric and a fighter. Can at least one of you? You're a monk. I mean,
I do things with my fists, like knocking on doors.
like be scared and then hide behind your sorcerer.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. If
I mean, if I recall, I chopped that ogre up.
I open the door.
Oh, okay. So you guys are gonna go to the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
All right. So you make
Very
it.
reluctantly, I open the door.
You make it to the end of the hallway, and you get to the door, and you open the door.
Amazing.
You step foot inside this very large open room. Let me see what happens here. Room number 4. 1 second. Okay, it's another large iron-bound oak door. You enter the room, and the door slams shut behind you. And
This is gonna be good.
you can see this room is maybe 30 or 40 feet square on each side. Just large obsidian black walls. Although it's strangely is illuminated in here, you can't see anything coming from the ceiling. There's no windows, but it's light in here. And you take a look around. The door locks behind you, but you don't see any creatures in here. It's just an empty room. And then you look up on the ceiling, and can you guys see the map okay on your own?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll zoom in a little bit. This on the map, you can see these 3 glass globes hanging, or not 3, 9. These 9 glass globes hanging from the ceiling on these chains, and they're all dangling from the ceiling in their own little square of the room, 10 feet apart each. So this room is about 30 by 30, and there's each 10-foot square has one of these glass globes hanging from the ceiling. And in the, let's see, 1 second. Okay, yep. So you go in, the door slams shut behind you, and you see these glass globes hanging from chains on the ceiling, and yeah, that's it.
All right, Mr. Door Guy, got any ideas?
Other than touch him.
I'm sure that will end well.
They are out of reach. They're high up, like hanging off the ceiling, off chains. It's maybe, let me see if it tells me exactly how high this ceiling is. Suspended from the ceiling. The globes are each about 2 feet in diameter, so they're very big, like a big light bulb looking thing. They're out of reach from you all, though.
All right, touching's out of the question.
Okay, they're 10 feet up in the air, actually. All right, exactly what I wanted to know. So they're hanging about 10 feet up in the air. So you guys could probably reach them if you got a little crafty.
First I want to check the walls of the room.
Sure, yeah, make an investigation check. All 3 of you can if you'd like. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd like to do.
As soon as you go in the room and the door closes behind you, I'm sure all of you would be like looking around like, okay, like what the hell's going on in here?
Oh boy.
And I've got a -1 myself. Oh.
So the awesome part about all of these goblin characters is every one of you started out with an 8 in intelligence. I'm really happy about that. So you're all looking around the room, and the walls appear to be walls, and the ceiling appears to be a ceiling with these globes hanging off of it.
Appears.
And one of you, Clack, you kind of started searching around, and you go up and you touch the wall, and it's just the same like obsidian carved wall as the rest of the tunnels that you were in. and you go up and pull on the door. Can't open it. Seems to be locked somehow behind you. But you see a keyhole in the door that appeared on this side that you didn't see on the other side. And, yeah.
Well, I guess this is our life now.
I guess we live here now.
Should have knocked first.
Yeah.
My first instinct is to try to break one of them, but I don't think we should do that right off the bat.
When you say that, Grak, the fighter, he pipes up and he's like, absolutely, we should break one of those things. They look like they're made out of glass. I want to break one. I'm going to break one. Let's do it. Let's break one. And he like starts to go up, and he's not tall enough, so he's just like swinging his greatsword underneath it. But he's like, "Come on, guys, let's do this."
All right, calm down, big boy.
Do we?
Don't want to be stuck. We're just temporarily stuck.
These globes, can we see anything?
You can, let me see here. There is it says you can make another investigation check.
Oh dear. Oh jeez.
Another 8. Okay, so you look at these globes, and it looks like you can see that they appear to be like frosted glass, so they are translucent but not fully transparent. They appear to have objects in them, sitting in them. You can see they're very large glass globes, and the frosted glass, you can't make it out, but there appear to be objects of differing sizes and shadows in each of these globes. And just on the map, I will number these globes, like from the top left corner, they're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like all the rows. So if you want to interact with one or do something, tell me which number.
Oh, I'm just sitting underneath one in the corner, just like accepting my new life.
Okay.
Trying to make it a home.
So I can't tell what's in the globes. Can I tell the size of stuff?
You can tell if you inspect a particular one. I can give you more information.
Oh.
What's that?
I'll do number 5.
Okay, number 5, the one right in the middle. You go up right in the middle, and you can see there's a lot of tiny little objects. Like you can see a couple little black specks in the bottom of this frosted glass globe.
Are they moving? Do you see anything?
They don't appear to be moving at all. They seem to have just settled into the bottom of the globe.
I want to stick my katana over top of my head so I'm really tall, so I can maybe tap one of these things.
Okay, which one would you like to do?
I'll go for 2, which is...
Okay, the one right underneath where you entered the room? Or right above where you entered the room? Sure, you actually...
Wait.
Okay.
Maybe that's not a good idea. If I break that, I'm getting out.
Okay.
Let's go for 1 instead, so it's out of the way.
Okay, the one in the top left corner. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, you reach your sword up and you tap on this glass, and it begins to crack.
Oh God!
And 1 second here. I did not even read about this and see what it is. I'm so excited. You crack this glass open and it breaks, and these 3 shadows pour out of it, and they begin flying around the room, and that's going to be initiative.
Oh boys, I've done it. I've done it, guys.
Fantastic. I'll drag you guys back onto the battle map really quickly.
I'm sitting in the corner. Oh, what's going on?
Nothing. Go back to sleep.
My rolls.
There's glass on me. What the hell?
1 second. We'll just use this battle map just for ease of use for the stream and everything. Just pretend it's a big old room, big old square room. So you can go wherever you want. This room is essentially an empty big square, but with the globes like hanging overhead. So you can go anywhere on this map that you would like. 1 second. Let me try to find me some good shadows here to use against you guys. Creepy shadow monsters here. Well, that's weird. Okay, they're just going to be like these floating orbs of shadowy, evil-looking objects, and you guys were all scattered about, looking at these orbs and stuff, and the shadows fly down. And let me pull up their info here. Roll for them real quick. Wow. Okay. All right. What did everybody get for initiative?
19 for Flack.
Okay.
5
Clack,
for
I'm
Black.
sorry.
I'm Flag. You're Clack.
All right. 3, 5. All right, so these 3 shadows appear and begin swirling around, and they crash down onto you all, and they move right up in front of you. And Clack, you cracked this thing open, and you kind of saw what was going to happen. You were already kind of like on edge, anticipating this, and you get to go first. You see what was happening here.
Take a swing with my katana.
At the
At the
one
one-
directly in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Make an attack. 12. And there. All right, you swing your sword at this thing, and it your magical katana like slices through the shadow, and you can see the shadow kind of just like dissipates around the weapon and then reforms, but it does appear to like make a little bit of the shadow energy kind of like evaporate off of it as it passes through, and you seem to have hit it. So roll damage. I'm really glad that you picked that particular globe. Okay, cool. You hit it, and it seems like about half of this shadowy energy dissipates and floats off into the ether. And
I want to use a got.
One of your key points.
Yes, sir.
Sure. What would you like to do?
Use one of my key points to make 2 unarmed strikes as a.
Oh, cool. Okay. And do your unarmed strikes count as magical attacks? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I think
It's sort
there
of like
is
a weapon.
I think there is a monk, like a monk ability that makes your unarmed strikes into like magic weapon attacks. But I don't know if that's a thing that the Kensei monk has or what level they get it at. So I'm assuming you would know if you had it, probably. So go ahead and roll to attack with your two strikes. So that's going to be roll to hit twice. Awesome. So you hit with both of those. You strike this thing with your sword, and then as it's kind of like trying to reassemble itself and with its like ethereal form, you quickly strike out and like give it two punches with your like lightning fast martial training, and roll damage on those. All right, and it seems like when you slice into this thing with your fists, like you punch through it, and it seems like what you were expecting, even though it's just like a shadow, and you just cut it with your sword, and you kind of like figured out how stuff moves through this. You punch it, and it seems like it really like is just like not connecting with anything, and you punch through it, and the first one just appears to do nothing. And then the second one, you punch it and it kind of just like the entire form just like dissolves and disappears into the air.
I got it, guys. I don't know how, but I got it. It's like it's there, but it's not there. So swing hard.
After the first one disappears, the second one kind of like floats down from the air from this globe that's now broken open, and it seems to be floating towards you, Clack. And it will, let me see, it kind of floats down onto you, and this shadowy like appendage like reaches out and tries to grab you, and it hits you and does, let me see here, 2d6 plus 2. So take 10 necrotic damage, and then your strength is reduced by 1. So your strength score is now reduced by 1. And then the second shadowy form sees this other creature in front of it, and it makes the same attack at you, Brack.
Okay.
Same thing. It will hit you with this shadowy, like almost like tentacle arm thing, reaches out and grabs you, and it begins like draining your strength, and you feel this cold death wave wash over you, and you're gonna take 13 necrotic damage, and your strength is now reduced by 1 as well. And now it is Brack, your turn.
I am going to use Word of Radiance.
Sure. Would you like to let me explain what that does for everybody?
I utter a divine word, radiance, corruption. Each creature of my choice that you can see within range must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 radiant.
Okay, so each creature you can see within range of your choice must a Constitution saving throw.
So that's both of them.
What is your spell save DC?
14.
Very nice. Okay, so these things, for some reason, they have a decent Constitution, even though they seem to be ethereal shadows. First one saves, second one fails. And that is 1d6 radiant damage?
Yes.
Okay, so it's actually going to take twice that much damage. Go ahead and roll your d6.
Two of them?
So just roll 1, and then it will be double, because this thing is vulnerable to radiant damage. So it takes 2 damage. This divine radiance seems to like spring forth from you, and like a whole chunk of this shadowy figure just like is like erased from the light power.
Cool.
Anything else?
Give me real quick. See if I have a bonus action. Nope, that's it.
Okay, it is on to Flack. You see these shadows swirling around and attacking your comrades. What would you like to do?
Just a quick question. Is the fighter, has he gone yet? Because I got like a 1.
You got a 3.
Did he get worse than that?
He got a 1.
He guess because he has no dex, I guess. It sucks. Okay. I guess I will use Nimble Escape to disengage a square, 2 squares back.
Okay.
And then I'll cast Firebolt on the one directly in front of me.
Firebolt. Okay. Yep, go ahead.
All right.
You shoot a firebolt at this shadow, and it seems to just pass right through and miss.
And these firebolts just aren't hitting today.
And you now know this is something Fear Good. I don't know if I've explained this so far. I've done this in the main campaign. After you guys attack for a while and you kind of are through a combat encounter a bit, I will tell everyone what the AC of the creature is, just to speed up combat, so you guys know if you hit or not, so you don't have to constantly like, I got this, did I hit, blah blah blah. And if someone hits you, you could do the math and figure it out on your own, like, oh, I hit with a 13 but I missed with an 11. Like, obviously we know what it is now. So this thing is AC 12, and your firebolt seemed to have missed it.
Okay.
Anything else there, Flack?
Nah, that was my bonus action to nimble escape, so I'm just laying low.
Okay, and finally, Grak, who was still standing swinging his sword under another globe and trying to break it on his own, and he turns and he's like, oh my god, you guys broke one. And he runs over and he like lunges and takes a big greatsword swing at one of these shadows. And oh, he got a critical hit. So 4d6. He runs across the room and just cuts one of these things, and it totally dissolves and disappears and dies.
Nice,
and
dude.
He's like, see, I told you we should break him. And then he's like, back to you, Clack. He's like, take it out, man.
Do I have advantage on this?
You do now, absolutely, yes.
What is that, the right number, right?
It's advantage. It will roll 2 at the same time, and then you can use whichever one is higher. So 22, 24 doesn't really matter. No, it automatically rolls 2, like the 22 and the 24 there. See from your first roll.
Oh,
and then you pick whichever one is higher, but they both would have hit. They're both like insane, so you definitely hit this thing. So just roll damage. And for Brack, just for your knowledge, I do the optional flanking rule. So if you guys are flanking something, one on each side, I will give you advantage on your attacks against it.
Okay.
11, you take your magical katana and slice through this thing. You were inspired by Grak. You saw how he kind of just did this thing and dissolved his in one fell swoop, and you kind of copied his move and you went right through it, and it's been erased from existence, and you're back shadow free, back in the room full of orbs.
That wasn't too bad. Let's break another one. I mean, maybe we have to break them all. Who knows? Maybe it's 9 things.
So
I think I'm just looking for a key to fit that keyhole.
Right. So you smashed globe number 1, and as you see the shadows dissipate into the air, the globe that has been shattered. Now you saw these other things drop into the water below it, and let's see who broke that one. That was Clack.
Yes, sir.
So you reach down and you pick up 300 lead pieces and a key.
Nate, is this the key you're looking for?
That'd be cool.
Do you hand the key over to Brack?
Yeah, I hand it to Brack, yeah.
Okay, Brack, you now have what appears to be a small stone key.
Does it look like it's going to fit the door?
You can try.
All right,
I want to
try
take a step away from the door.
I know it.
You're gonna try the key?
Let's see here.
This is great.
Yeah.
You're gonna try it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
All right, you put the key into the keyhole and the key disappears.
You lost yourself. I can't hear you.
I can't hear him either.
Oh, you guys can't hear me? 1 second.
Now, you came back just now.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Maybe I was too far away from the mic. You put the key into the keyhole and the key disappears.
Uh,
Does the door open?
You pull on the door and it still seems to be locked.
Oh,
maybe wrong key. Maybe.
I guess.
It kind of disappeared in like a puff of smoke.
Definitely
Okay.
seems like a wrong key
Maybe
thing to
it's
me.
a hungry door and it needs 9 keys.
It's a possibility.
I mean, where else are we gonna go, right?
How about we ask the door what it wants?
I don't think it's safe.
Roll a performance check, please, Mr. Clack. Awesome. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so you, what would you like to say to this door?
Mr. or Mrs. Door, we kind of need to leave. We stuck a key in you and you didn't want it, so can you let us know what you actually want? Door,
You,
please?
as soon as you finish saying that, you hear in your mind this sound of like the water, like in the room, start to. It sounds like if you put your head up to a seashell, it's like the waves, you know. But it's not the water in the room. It just sounds like it's in your mind, and you hear these waves, and you hear this whispering, like very soothing, like kind of like ripply voice that's like very. It sounds like the voice is like coming out of the waves, and the voice says, "Wrong key, moron."
Holy Godu, guys. Would you leave the door? Just talk to me. Ask me what it said.
You're full of it.
I don't really care. Let's just get to the next one.
No, it told me what it wants.
Let's just get to the next
It's-
one.
It said
The next one.
it needs another key. The door wants another key.
I mean, I said that first, so let's just
Flack, as you keep saying like let's get to the next one, you hear these waves come up in your head and you hear this same soothing voice say like you need to complete the task for me.
I know that look. You heard the door. You heard it, didn't you?
Let's just say I might have had too much to drink before this.
Ah, you heard the door. What did it say?
Reminiscent voices of my ex-wife. I don't think it's anything to really think too
It
much
was
about.
like an
Let's
ocean,
go to the
wasn't
next
it?
thing. Hey, I want to hit the next thing. Let's go to the next thing.
All right, so you now
Go ahead.
there are 8 globes remaining in this room hanging from the chains.
I'm pointing at number 2.
Okay, and you have your cantrips, like you could totally try to shoot these things if you want.
Wait, before we shoot it, should we look around? Maybe one looks like a key. Or do they all look like keys?
Feel free to look at whatever one you want.
And they only got like a light that maybe we can shine through.
You
I
can
thought
try
it
it.
was light in here.
It's fairly light in here. It's like it seems like the whole room is illuminated, but the globes, like I said, they're kind of like a frosted glass, but you can see shadows through them. Like you can see the shadow of objects through them. You could try to put a light up to one. If anyone has some way of doing that.
Is it possible for me to this is let me can I like use my tempestuous magic to like fly up to like 10 feet so I can like get real close to like head level where I'm like kind of laying down like bunk beds and like and then maybe like I don't know, like could I like cast like a firebolt like onto like something like a cloth or something?
All
And
right.
then just like
I do have a
For
torch.
a torch, yeah, I can just light up a torch.
for
with my-
how creative that is, like you could technically, like because of the way your tempest magic, like there's no restrictions on that, right? Like it's not like once
No,
per
I
long
can
rest or
literally
anything.
just cast, like I can cast as mate as it's just a bonus action like every turn. I can just-
Anytime you cast a spell.
yeah. and
So
then we can
you
cantrip
could
or
definitely
dodge.
like you could fire a cantrip at the floor and fly
can
up
shoot
into the
people
air.
down,
And if you're
and then I
holding a
can fly.
torch, you technically could launch yourself up into the air and hold the torch up to it and look through it. Sure. I
that's
don't
what I
see why
wanted to
not.
do.
So yeah, you
Exactly what I want to
you
do.
do that. Which one would you like to try to get a closer look at?
Number 2.
Okay, you float up to it and you appear to see what looks like a little bit of an alchemy vial with a cork in it and something that's shaped like the iron key that you had before.
I mean, this has a key. I don't know if it is the key. Let's give it a shot.
And I just give it like a poke with my pinky.
The globe?
Yeah, the globe.
Okay, you jam your pinky on it and it hurts a little bit.
Wow, that
A
doesn't
little more
make fun
force.
either. Don't worry about that, guys.
I like kind of under my breath, like when I'm coughing, I like shoot out a little firebolt as
Yeah.
like I pretend to punch.
Right. Yeah, it shatters and it looks like you totally punched this thing in half. And before you land, you catch the potion and the key. And
All right, so someone definitely has to drink this potion.
Not I.
I was
All right,
joking.
the
I
one
was
that-
joking. I don't think anyone actually has to drink it. Holy crap!
The one that found it has to drink.
I agree.
you
It's your responsibility.
You look into
No.
this potion and you see it looks like this very like thick silvery liquid, almost like if you've seen like liquid mercury.
Like
Yeah,
the
this
Prince of
stuff
Harry
looks like
Potter.
unicorn blood. I don't want any part of this.
That's a good explanation, actually. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
No, I'll pass that on to Grack if he wants to have a little taste of this mystery juice.
You hand it over to Grack and he looks at it and he's like, "Anybody ever seen this before? Anyone know what it is?" And you can all make a history check, I guess it would be, to see if you know what it is. You can use history or arcana, whatever you would prefer.
History's better. Still nothing.
Cool. Clack, you take a look at it and you're like, this is like a potion of dragon controlling.
Yep, definitely control dragons with this potion.
Exactly. And so when you say that, Grack is like, we can't drink this thing. It's not going to do anything. We're not dragons. And he just like puts it away in his pack. And then the key,
You can control dragons. Give me that.
he hands it back over to you and he's like, "Fine, I don't care about it."
I just
And-
like pop over the cork and just drink it without thinking.
Okay, you you drink it and now
Did I say dragons? I meant flies.
for the next like 10 minutes you can control any let me see, silver dragons that you come across.
If we don't come across.
Control chads.
I have a feeling we're gonna come across many silver dragons in the next 10
And
minutes.
you are now you're now
Oh dear.
holding this iron key as well.
All right, door. This key probably tastes better. I bet.
You hear the waves come back and you insert the key in the door and the key disappears.
Really gonna go for the whole niner, huh?
I think so.
All right, someone do the next one.
I'm gonna skip ahead and thump on number 5.
Cool. All right. You smash number 5 open, and 11 glass gems fall down, and a key.
Gems. Glass gems. Is that even worth anything?
How would you know?
Those
I mean,
Draconians. Those
glass.
Draconians.
So you grabbed your 300 lead pieces, and you look at the glass gems, and you're like, none of this is worth anything.
Forgot about the lead.
Mine's prettier.
And yeah, that is very true. Yours is much prettier, and you have another key.
I know what's gonna happen, but I'm like, hey, door, do you like this key?
It disappears immediately. So now 1, 2, and 5 have been destroyed.
All right. Well, I guess we're getting this one.
And I go pew, and I shoot at the third one.
Okay. You just see like jewelry upon jewelry begin to pour out of the bottom of this thing and pile up onto the floor. And it's like piling up through the water. It's like coming above the water and just like this giant mound of jewelry. And this swirling air begins to come out of the globe as well that breaks, and this air elemental flies out of it and gets like this big gust of wind and sucker punches Flack right in the gut and sends you flying prone, and you take you take 7 damage, 7 force damage from that, and you're knocked on your ass. And
Bet you won't try that again.
there is a big old pile of jewelry on the ground.
Still mine. Nobody take it.
Grak runs up to it and he's like, "This is a lot. We're gonna have to split this up if we want to carry this all back with us."
We're already splitting it up. He gets the lead, and I get this.
You guys can split this up, and I'll just tell you right now, this is 12,000 gold worth of jewelry.
How much is my lead worth?
0.
It's literally the burden.
It's worth 300 lead pieces. Yeah. It's actually, you know what? It's worth whatever someone will pay for it.
Okay.
Lead bullets for a sling, maybe.
There you go.
So
Crafty. So
and
yeah, you
mark our way
you guys can
around.
split this up if you want. You now have 3,000 gold pieces each of jewelry. If you want to add it to your inventory.
Okay.
Guess I want to.
If you want 3,000 gold, whatever, go for it.
You want 300 pieces of lead?
All right, so now 1, 2, 3, and 5 have been destroyed. 5 orbs remain.
Let's go for.
There's no more air elemental. It just came out and punched me and disappeared.
Yep.
Let's go for 7. I jump and slap it with my katana.
Cool. Yeah, it breaks and a key drops down and a wand falls down into the water, like a wand-shaped rod of wood.
Hey, let me see that.
Okay, here you go. I grab the key and toss it to Brack to open the door.
All right, Brack, you have another key.
Praise be the door. Take this key and open.
You hear the waves now finally, and they wash over you, and the voice whispers to you like, I want you to be the one to seek me and complete this quest. And you slip the key into the door, and it disappears.
Still locked?
Can I use
The door is still locked. Yeah.
Can I use the Arcana to the wand?
Yeah, roll an Arcana check if you want to try to see what it is. You look at this wand, and it's got some runes inscribed into it, and as a practitioner of some magical abilities, you can see that this is a wand of paralyzation.
Ooh.
It appears to be very faint magic, though. Like you may only get to use this thing a couple times before it's juiced out.
So I got a few charges left.
Still good for a few uses.
Nice. So now 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7 have been destroyed.
I want to ask the door a question.
Okay.
Oh, great and mighty door. Do you know which one the key is in?
There's only 4 left.
You hear the waves and the voice come back into your head, and it says, bend the knee to the mighty Poseidon, and the answers will be revealed to you.
Poseidon. I only know one king, one god, a king, and that's Goldu. I will never bend the knee.
And the voice says, I don't know which one the key is in. Try
Sure.
another one.
Guys, I think the door knows, but he wants us to swear allegiance to it, and I'm not okay with it.
I'm starting to think the door doesn't know.
Oh, you admit that you heard the door, huh?
I'll admit nothing.
Uh-huh.
This is going so great so far. I'm having such a good time. All right, so let me see. 4. What was it? 4, 6, 8, and 9. Is that right? 4, 6,
Maybe
8,
just
and 9.
I'm not even sure.
I think we just did 5.
Yeah, 5 is
I did 5.
5 is dead. 4, 6, 8, and 9 are all that remain.
Has everybody done a door or a globe?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Greg, he speaks up and he's like, "Can I finally freaking break one?" And he runs and he yells at Clack. He's like, "Give me a boost!" And you reach down and put your hands out. And he like does this jump off of your hand and he smashes into number. Let me see. 4. And a ring and a key fall down. And Greg says, I just wanted to break the globe. I don't care about the stuff. You guys take it.
I'll go for the ring.
Hey, Gusto. Welcome to the stream, man. How's it going? So you grabbed the ring, and who grabbed the key?
I did.
Okay, so you put the key in the door, and it disappears again, of course. And the whispers come over you, and you hear the voice say, "Man, you guys are really bad at this." And Clack, you slip the ring on, and you feel lighter than air, and you feel like you could just float away, and you can make an Arcana check to figure out what that ring is. Hermit, thank you so much for the 6-month resub, dude. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna shout you out right now. Everybody, check out Grandfather Hermit. If you guys like, I'm spelling things horribly today. Hermit. If you guys like the game Hunt Showdown or any horror games, anything like that, Grandfather Hermit is your guy. Super awesome Italian dude with a great attitude and a wonderful, wonderful head of hair and beard. He's a beautiful man, and I love him. And he's gonna start doing some retro horror games, so go check him out. He's great. All right, you somehow rolled a 0 on your Arcana check, so you didn't put the ring on. You tried to put it on, but you put it on the wrong way. You like took the whole of the ring, like if you can see on camera right now. You took the whole of the ring and you tried to put it on your finger like this. You don't even know what this thing is. You're like, this metallic circle has dropped down from this orb. What is this? And Flack actually grabs it out of your hand, and now he has to see if he knows what it is.
That's not how
Have
you
you ever seen one of these things before?
What is this strange circle of metal? Flack, you grab the ring and you're like, you dummy, and you put it on your finger, and you've seen this before, and it looks like you see some more of these strange runes on it, and this is a ring of flying. And you get the same feeling that this thing, it's emanating just a faint trace of this magic that it once had.
Sick.
You can expend 1 charge of that ring to fly for like 1 minute.
Awesome. All right.
Oh yeah, I did. I got a haircut, Hermit. Thanks for noticing, man. First one to notice. Let me see. So all that remains is 6, 8, and 9. Oh, I thought I showed you guys on stream. Whew. I can't hear you guys while I take my headphones off, but I will show you the haircut. Here you go.
He's so handsome. Look at him.
And I'm normally not this
So handsome.
haircut guy. Well, thank you.
Man, Beef, you better watch you. I'm gonna have to take you myself now.
much appreciated. Yeah, she likes it. Thank you, Luca. Much appreciated, guys. Yeah, you got a ring of flying, Flack, and you now see that there was a key in the door, or in that globe. It did not work. And now 6, 8, and 9 are all that
I'll go
remains.
I'll
Wasn't
go for
7?
9.
I don't remember.
7 was the wand
I got
of
7,
paralyzation.
Oh, yeah.
What was that, Brack? You try to smack another one?
Yeah, I'll go for 9.
9. All right, you smack into 9, and this pile of gems falls into your pocket, and a key, and that's 600 gold pieces to you, sir,
Okay.
worth of gems, and a key.
I'm afraid to try the key, guys.
Anyone want to guess if this key is going to work in this door? Place your bets.
The door doesn't like me, so I'm gonna say I'm not gonna place a bet on this one.
Guys, I have an idea. What if, while we live here for decades and decades, we use the key and we just don't put it in the hole, and we just say, hey, look how cool this key is. Like, it's probably so tasty. And then we like pretend to eat it, and then like the door will get so jealous that it'll like have to open up.
I don't know. It sounds like a good idea to me. This doesn't seem like it's working.
I mean, this plan isn't working, so
I mean, how unlucky are we?
we use all our keys, then we can't use my plan.
Brack is the one that has the key, and Brack, these two are trying to talk you into eating this key. What would you like to do?
I'm a little hungry.
Awesome.
How about you consult the door first?
Door, will this
Ask the
open
door
you?
would it like this.
What do you say to the door?
Door, will this open you? Will this satisfy you?
The voice appears again and says, the only thing that will appease me is when the entire world worships the almighty god of the universe, Poseidon, and all of his wonderful powers, and the wave sound gets overwhelmingly loud and crashes against the inside of your mind, and then it says, I don't know if that's the right key.
What did it say? You look kind of disturbed.
Yeah, we must worship Poseidon?
It's telling you that too? It told me to bend the knee to Poseidon. I don't know what's up with this door. This door's kind of weird. What kind of door wants to be wet? That's weird. It's gonna get stuck if it gets wet.
So you have this key. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try it.
You're gonna put the key in the door?
Yeah.
Okay, you go over across the room and you put the key in the door. What was that?
Before I do that,
Sure.
would I have any water on me?
You probably have some water in like a flask. Also, the room has about a foot of water on the floor.
I guess I could do that too. I don't know if this will work or not. I put water all over the key and then try it in the hole, keyhole.
Sure. You dunk this key in the water and then you put it in the door and you hear the waves and the voice come back and it's like, ah, yes, the power of Poseidon blessed on this key. Let it work. And you put it in the door and the key disappears.
Ah. Oh. Next.
I think the door's trolling us.
Yeah.
So
How many are
now
left?
6 and 8.
I spin, jump, and slap 6.
Okay. You break 6 and an equally large pile of jewelry as before piles up on the
I
floor.
jump on it away.
A key and another one of those gray ooze blobs plops down and begins to attack.
Freeze
You
it.
jumped on it.
And it attacks you, Clack, and it hits you for 3 damage. That's gonna
Oh
be
my
like
god, it stinks.
3 poison damage. And we don't have to do a full battle scene like Flack killed this thing with 1 ray of frost before, so whoever wants to take a swing at this thing can
I'll save the day again.
Alright, you freeze this thing and blast it into a million pieces, and it shoots across the room, and the waves appear in your mind, Flack, and it says, "You control the power of frozen water? Poseidon would be pleased. You must be the one to solve the quest."
All right. So let's get this last one. Oh, also jewelry.
You pick up the jewelry, and it's entirely made out of glass, and it's entirely worthless.
Awesome. Delicious.
All
All
right.
right. I'm gonna go and.
There was a key that fell out of this one as well.
I'll pocket this key.
Okay.
Maybe we should hold on to it. Maybe it makes like a bigger key or something.
All right.
We wasted.
You have another key in your pocket, and all that
And I'm gonna
remains is
firebolt.
orb number 8.
8. I shoot you.
All right, you shoot it, and a key and a ring drop down, and
Ring.
as soon as this ring drops down, you all hear a different voice in your head, and the ring says, "Stop before you pick me up. I must confess. I confer the following powers upon my wearer. Permanent invisibility. Haste. I act as a +1 ring of protection. 100% protection from charm. Once per day you can fly. Treasure finding, and 1 use of the wish spell. The only drawback is I can never be removed, and once per year I will permanently reduce your HP by 1.
Gimme.
He's already a chronic smoker. I don't think it matters at this point.
Power's mine. All mine.
All right, you put on this ring, and it speaks to you again, and it says, "Yes, the power is yours forever." And the key also dropped down, so now you have 2 keys. And you hear the waves come back, and they say, "Finally, get out of this room. Let's do it. You must be the one. Pledge fealty to Poseidon and make your exit."
Try the door.
Okay. I guess I'll use this key.
The one that you just got,
Yeah.
or the one from 6?
The one I just got.
Okay, you put it in the door, and the door opens,
There you go.
and the key from 6 disappears.
Well, I guess
Let
I was
me
gonna
say,
eat that later.
let me say, meta, really quick. 100% the key was in number 8 the whole time. You guys literally just picked it last on your own. Like I'm not making this up. You guys just picked you actually looked in the last place that you possibly could. But you did it. You completed the puzzle. And you're still in the room with all the broken orbs, but the door is open.
bye door.
Don't talk to it. I'm out of here.
I step through.
You guys step back out into the hallway?
Under my breath, I just say, "Fuck that door."
All right. As you step through, Flack, this badass magical ring you were wearing, as soon as you exit...
I didn't put it on.
You didn't?
No, I just kept it.
Oh, okay. As soon as you exit this room, this badass magical ring disappears. You all step back out into the hallway, and the waves and the voice come back, and all of you hear at the same time, like, "I can't believe you actually did it. You still must complete the quest. Also, I'm not a door, you idiots."
Hey, where's the hell's my ring?
You're not a door.
It says, "Do you think a door is talking to you right now? Really?" Of
We
course you
fought an
do.
ogre.
You're-
You talk to a
You're
spade.
goblins. Of course you think that I'm a talking door. And the voice,
that's
racist.
specious.
the waves die down and they disappear. The voice disappears from your mind.
We're not stupid.
Real typical. She doesn't even talk about the ring.
It's probably some human thinking he's the most intelligent thing on the planet.
All right, you guys made it back out into the hallway. Let me roll, see if anybody noticed all the commotion in there. They did not. And I guess you guys can just make your way back down the hallway. It seems like everything's clear. You're back out where you started before you went in there.
All right, start walking. If that wasn't a door,
Let me see. Hang on one second. Yeah, whoever wrote this, let me actually give him credit really quick. This was written in 1979 by a man named Lawrence Schick, who he submitted this just for fun to Wizards or to TSR back in the day. Gary Gygax, the original creator of D&D, and they hired him immediately and published this without changing anything. So the actual terminology and the writing of this adventure in the book is really, really hilarious. It's completely ridiculous, and I love it. That entire room that you guys just went into, I don't think there was any point to it at all. I'm pretty sure it was just a big waste of time. You guys got 12,000 gold, which is pretty dope.
And that's pretty important.
But yeah, nothing of consequence happened, so you continue on your way. Other than the voice of the waves that you guys were hearing, but don't really, who knows. So you get back to where this path split, and you can go back the way you came, or this northern path now is before you.
North.
Yeah, I say north. Yeah.
Cool. So you get up. There's another one of those iron and wooden doors in front of you.
Well, I know a door's not talking to us now, so we can just open it now.
After you, unless you got a crush on the door.
Grax speaks up from the back and he's like, "Aren't you gonna knock on it?"
Honestly, the door is kind of a POS, so I'm just gonna kick it open.
You kick open this door and you kind of spill into the room. You're all pretty closely clustered together, and you spill into this room. And room number 5, you see lined up against the wall on the north wall is a golem, like a big hulking golem creature made out of flesh of combined monsters, and it's standing against the wall. And behind it are these 5 numbers on the wall, and the golem was sleeping standing up against the wall here, and it looks up as you come into the room, and all that's in this room is big empty room with the numbers on the wall, the golem, and then there's a door directly behind the golem, and it looks up and awakens as you enter, and it says, "One of these numbers does not belong. If you can pick it out, I will serve you and allow you passage. If you pick the wrong one, I will kill you. You have 60 seconds. And the numbers on the wall are 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. I will write them all in the chat. It said, one of the numbers does not belong. If you can pick it out, I will serve you. If you choose wrong, I will kill you. You have 60 seconds. 5, 7, 9, 11, 13.
All right, guys, I think I know.
Okay.
Want me to take the...
You can
take
whisper
the
amongst
choice?
yourselves and say what you're thinking before you have to solidify your guess here.
I was thinking 13 because it's the only teen.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Luca, you think you solved it? What do you think it is in the chat? I won't tell these guys. All right, you can. Are you gonna?
Maybe it's the 9 because it's in the middle. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Mine isn't that great, but I think we're gonna have to go with that if we don't have any other better ideas.
Brack, do you have any answers? Grack says, I'm no good with numbers. Is there anything special about any of these?
It just looked like normal numbers.
Yeah, I don't notice anything out of them.
Luca sent me a message of what he thinks it is. Let me check that. All right, you are down to about 20 seconds. Luca, you are correct.
What's the answer, Golem?
Well, it's kind of messed up if you like think about it. Like this guy bases his whole relationship on us on whether we like get this question right or not. Like
The
we can totally swing it and
the
guess it.
golem's eyes begin to glow red and its mouth opens, and through its mouth you can hear a different voice begin to say 10, 9, 8,
Is that the door again?
7, 6, 5,
13.
3, and it stops counting down, and its eyes still remain red, and the golem says 13 is prime, and it begins to attack you, and that's initiative.
It is prime numbers. I just got it at the end. I'm like, is it prime numbers?
So the only one of those numbers that was not prime is 9, and 13 is prime. So.
What's the middle one? Because 9, because it's in the middle, dude.
Yeah, exactly right. So
Why you snickered on the stream, Bert?
Luca, absolutely correct. Wonderful job there. And we're going to be back to the battle map here, and you guys will be fighting a golem. So everybody roll initiative for me there.
Oh, I've been doing terrible at that.
That's all right. You got to get your bad rolls out of the way.
No, I don't.
You try to find a cool golem token here. Doesn't look like I'm going to find one. Ugh. Cool. Maybe. Not big enough. There we go. Did everybody roll?
Yeah.
All right. The golem. Oh, yeah. Let me get his stats pulled up here. Cool. So this golem lumbers away from the wall, and it's got all of these. It looks like Frankenstein's monster. It's like got all of these different body parts kind of sewn together. It's this big hulking mass of flesh and different like things holding it together, and stitches and chains, and it's kind of lumbering towards all of you. And it kind of lurches across. And who said 13? It was Flack, correct?
Yeah.
He attacks you first, and he just says 13 is prime. And
Okay, I get it.
he, let's see, will attack you. What's your AC?
12.
Okay. He hits you twice. 2d8 plus 4. He hits you for 19 bludgeoning damage.
Oh my god.
He like slams one of these like grisly assorted humanoid arms into you, and you take this huge chunk of damage. And then it just repeats 13 is prime. And it is
Freakazoid.
now your turn, Flack. You get smacked.
I got one number wrong, and now you're out to get me. I mean, come on. Give me one more guess, because now I know. I'm gonna nimbly escape.
Sure.
And This time I must land. Firebolt, god damn it, firebolt.
Where are you nimbly escaping to? 2 spaces back?
Space is back.
Okay.
The classic.
Firebolt again?
Yes. If it will ever land.
All right. Yep. Go ahead and cast it. 18, which, let me see what his AC is. Oh yeah, you hit this guy. Roll damage.
Just a quick meta question. He
Sure.
has flesh. Does flesh ignite?
So roll your damage. I will tell you right now, when you hit this golem specifically, flesh, when you hit it in this game, like there's no rule for that. Like flesh doesn't just burn. It's like if your hero gets attacked by a fireball, you don't like ignite, you know? But it's funny that you would ask that. A flesh golem specifically has aversion to fire, much like Frankenstein's monster, which it's based off of. When the golem takes fire damage, it now has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So you,
All right, cool.
you deal
So I do 7 damage.
7 damage to this thing. All right. Let me see what he's looking like now. Okay. All right, you hit it with fire and it like reels back and it kind of like shields itself from the fire and it like almost lets out a little bit of a like whimpering cry and then it like stouts itself again and it says 13 is prime. And it
Was it a Dalek?
begins to start looking to smack someone else again. And it is now Grak's turn and Grak runs up beside it and makes a big swing with his greatsword. Oh yeah, and he crits. Dude, this champion fighter class is really good. It crits on a 19 or a 20, so there's just a 10% chance that you're going to crit. Really nice. Doesn't do anything else, but it crits a lot. It's all it does is attack and crit. It's nice. So 2d6. No, 4d6. 7, 12, 13, 18 damage. And he gets to attack again. And he hits that time as well. 2d6. 5. Another 9 damage. This thing's still looking pretty strong. You slice a couple of like the stitched together organs off of this thing and it just doesn't seem to be doing much to it. There's no blood coming out of it. It's just magically animated piles of flesh and organs and limbs and stuff, and it doesn't even seem to care about this physical attack whatsoever. And Grak is like hacking and slashing through this thing and he's like, God damn, this thing is tough. And it's over to Clack.
Meta question. I didn't realize that extra attack. That just applies regardless?
Do you have extra attack?
Yeah.
That means every time you take the attack action, you get to attack twice. Yeah.
All right. I pull out my katana, baby.
Heck yeah. And yeah, it's not an extra action or bonus action or anything. It's just like when you get to level 5 as a like melee class, you get to attack twice instead of once.
It's OP.
And you can split that up if you want. You can attack and then move and then attack again.
Nah, I'm just gonna slap him twice.
Cool.
Give him the old 1-2.
Boom, boom. Make your attack rolls.
Oh. My bad, it's compounded.
Oh, I was like, you rolled a 33. What the hell?
If you move
Alright,
up,
that's
you get
one.
advantage.
That's 2.
Okay, so your first attack, you definitely slice into this thing. Roll damage for that. Your second attack, you kind of got a little overzealous and you missed there.
It was that 33, man.
Yeah. All right, you take a big slice out of this thing and one of its big mutated arms lops off onto the ground. But it's still looking pretty stout, I believe.
This is a beefy boy, guys.
Let's
Give it all-
see here. It.
Maybe we have to
Okay.
hit it 13
It
times.
is now. it does keep repeating that. It is now Brack's turn.
Okay. I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. I'm excited. I think this is the first time anyone's cast a spell.
This one you call Force Spirits to protect you and
Okay.
fly it around a distance of 15-foot duration, and I can tell that my friendly goblins will not be part of. They will not be able to get hit. Just the golem.
Okay. And what is what's the size of the circle of guardians?
It has a 15 feet distance.
Okay. Centered on a point, correct?
Me.
Okay, cool. So 15 feet around, so anywhere within pretty much this entire area that you're all in. And that's if any creature starts its turn or enters that area, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And it does. Since I got a neutral alignment, it will do shoot. My mind went blank for a minute. Radiant damage, 3d8.
3d8 radiant damage. Okay, cool. So you cast Spirit Guardians, and your Forge god and ancestors like begin to like swirl around in this area protecting you, and you can see all their like armor that looks like the same as yours, this like awesomely forged holy armor and weapons and stuff, and they're swirling around in this area. Any other effects or anything that you'd like to do?
I think that was check. I'm pretty sure it takes the action, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a spell. It should, and make sure to mark off your spell slot as well if you can.
Yeah, I will.
And that's it. It's back to the golem, and it lets out this primal like roar, and it says 13 is prime, and it makes a big smack at Brack. But as it does so, these spirit guardians swirl and attack it, and roll your 3d8 radiant damage.
Okay.
Let's see. Radiant damage does affect it. Very nice. Cool. The spirit guardians like take big swipes at this thing with their like divine weapons and take another big chunk at it, and it lops off another one of its limbs, and like one of its like third legs from the back falls off into the water on the ground, and it attacks you, and it has disadvantage because this fire still kind of sent it reeling last turn from Flax Firebolt, and it attacks you, and it rolled a 16 was its lowest one. So what's your AC?
18.
Nice. It misses. Yeah, it tries to take a big hit at you with one of its big ogre-y arms, and it just smacks it into the ground as the spirit guardians kind of like threw it off balance, and it misses its attack. And it will make an additional attack on Clack with disadvantage as well. 12?
16, baby.
All right, it misses both of you guys. You've sent it reeling, and it begins to like this magical aura begins to kind of glow off of it, and it begins to go into this berserk rage. And let me see. Roll a d6. It has gone berserk. Let me see what this makes it do. It can no longer. All right, cool. It's in this berserk fury, and it's now at the end of its turn, and it is Flack's turn.
All right, big boy, ready for another one?
It opens its mouth like each other time it says like 13 is prime, but this time just this like screaming sound comes out of it. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and shoot the firebolt in his mouth.
Cool.
Kobe style.
Okay.
Cool.
Kobe.
15, you hit. And you know now that the AC on this thing is 9. It's very easy to hit. It's a giant hulking flesh beast.
Still feels like a Kobe.
Yeah, you went right in its mouth with the fireball or firebolt. Roll damage.
All right. We got
Ooh, that's a good damage. It's another 7.
Cool. 7. You hit this thing with fire and it reels back again, and this time it's this like waxy, monstrous, like Frankenstein monster flesh starts to like melt off, and some of the stitches you can see are unraveling and singeing off with the fire. And it's over to Grek. He takes a big old swing at it with the great sword again. Hits and misses. He does, oh man, big damage. He does 15 damage to this thing. Takes a big hunk out of its back, and it's kind of like almost like a big slice out of its back flops off, and there's just like this giant meat flap hanging off the back of it now, and it's over to Clack.
Just gonna try to end it here since it looks like it's upset and it's probably low on health.
It's just like letting out this like weird scream that sounds like it's almost coming through it and not from it. Like this ghostly scream is just screeching out of this thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of hearing this thing, y'all. I'm gonna go for a chop.
Chop
Not
chop.
just a normal chop.
The double attack, very nice. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
You hit with that first one. That's a crit. So roll double dice. One of those was accidentally a D20, I think. You did a D20 again.
Wait, what am I rolling again?
When you hit with a critical hit, you roll your attack damage dice twice, and then you add your dex to it. So your katana does 1d8 damage, so roll that twice, and then add your dex bonus to it.
And then plus the 4. Yeah, 4 for the modifier.
Plus your katana is a +1 as well, so it should be plus 5, I believe. So
10.
Well, you only rolled 1d8, right?
Yeah, that's just the 1.
Right, but you crit, so you get to roll double the dice. So 8 plus 5 now, plus another 5, so 18. There we go.
Okay.
So
that's so confusing to me.
Well, just think of it like a regular attack with a katana does 1d8 plus your modifier. A crit does 2d8 plus your modifier.
Okay.
It just doubles the number of dice that you roll. So you did 18 damage to this thing. You like stick your katana in the like that flap that was cut off and falling off, and you do this like super quick cut move. You put it in there and like drag it up through it, and you just totally disembowel the rest of this thing, and it just falls into a clump of guts on the floor and dies. And as it's like melting and like sinking into the floor, you just hear 13 is prime, and it dies.
It's never gonna let you get over that, huh?
And then as it dies, the 9 on the wall illuminates, and the door on the other end, on the north end, swings open.
Told you, 9's in the middle.
All right, and you are back at this area here, and now in this room you can't see anything else. That nothing else seems to be there. It's just an empty room with the numbers on the wall, and there's a door, and through the door you can see a staircase leading up.
Shall we?
I think we gotta be smarter about what we pick now, because it seems like we're gonna get into a fight if you pick the wrong thing. We can't keep this up forever.
What do you guys think? And the map is deceiving here. When you on the side, like you are in room 5 right there, if you can see on the map. 12 and 13, like you have no access to those. There's no other doors in your room. Those are just rooms that come from somewhere else in the dungeon. All that you can do is either go back or go forward.
Guys, want to keep going, or maybe we should double back?
Well, keep going. You can go all the way back up the stairs for all I care. But I gotta take all those jewels if you're gonna leave early.
I mean, if you don't make it out, what does it matter?
Exactly. So give me your jewels.
Nah, I'm never gonna take it with me. It's better to bring back something.
You can
I
take this
guess we can
wand.
continue on.
Hey,
And I
how?
give you like a stick instead of the wand.
So, it is getting close to the time that we probably need to wrap things up. We got through a decent amount of this dungeon, but as always, I underestimate how long dungeons take and how much fun it is, and how much awesome role playing and stuff you guys will do. So we definitely are not anywhere near finishing this. It's supposed to be like a one shot, but every time I hear that, it's like, okay, this is actually probably like a 3 or 4 shot. So if you guys are cool, we will continue this next week, and we'll continue the mission of the Goblin Squad. What do you guys think of it? Let me just take a couple minutes before we finish up here. How did you guys think it went? Did you have fun so far? Do you want to keep doing this
It's
really
before we
fun.
go back to the main story?
It's definitely fun not having to fear for your player's life.
It's nice
I like it.
being able to play a new character.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Like chopping things.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we will continue this next week. So the goal of this dungeon is to get the 3 artifact weapons, and we haven't got any of them yet, so we're not quite 1/3 of the way through the dungeon, if that makes sense. So it will probably be at least 2 or 3 more sessions. We'll see how quickly it goes. But I think you guys did great. I had an absolute blast. Our new player, Dr. Feargood, who has been awesomely playing Brack so far. What did you think, man? Did you enjoy it? Did you like playing on the stream here? Did you like how everything went? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I love playing it. I like your storytelling.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. I think it was great. Did you guys all? I felt like you all meshed really well. We didn't really have any issues at all. I think you guys played the goblins hilariously. I thought it was fantastic. I'm like can't thank you guys enough. I was super worried about this. Like this reading this module. It's reading a module from '79. You know, it's things were written very differently for D&D back then. It was a lot more basic, and like some of the things would be like I quoted this on a Twitter post the other day because I thought it was hilarious. I was reading through this module, and one of the things says like there's like a pit trap, and if the player falls into the trap, they cut themselves on razor blades and instantly contract super tetanus and die.
Oh, jeez.
So it's like you're taking these like goofy old ancient language, like old school D&D stories, and trying to convert it into something that makes sense for 5th edition. So it's been a lot of work and a lot of like trial and error, and I'm super happy with how it's working out. So I'm really glad you guys are enjoying it, and I think the way that we're running it is going great. The kind of overworld map, and then going into the battle maps every time like an encounter happens. I think that's been going well, and I'll try to.
Yeah, it's kind of like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I'll have to say that actually that transition works really well.
Cool.
I think
I'm glad you
pretty
guys like
seamless.
that. I'll continue to do
Yeah.
that, and I think I'm gonna try to add that into our main campaign as well, because I like being able to like you guys can see where you are in the dungeon, and then when something happens, like we can quickly go back to that and then get back to where we were travel wise. So I really enjoy that, and I'm learning a lot. I really want to run more of these like pre-written adventures in the future. It really helps me to figure out how a good adventure should be written, you know, and this is like one of the all-time classics. So I am loving it so far. But unfortunately, we do have to call it a day for now. So we will be back next week, same time, same place on next Wednesday to continue the adventures of the Goblin Squad. Again, you guys are awesome. I think it was amazing, and thank you so much for playing, you guys. It really means a lot to me. Like, we've had a lot of hard times lately with losing a player and taking a week off, and you know, before that we lost another player already, so it's like always a struggle to like produce and have this live streamed like essentially show every week that takes a lot of time and mental energy on its own, plus trying to manage schedules of people and producing the actual D&D content for it. It's a lot of work, so it really helps me out a lot that you guys are here and happy and willing to play, and it just makes it so much easier. So thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to get back into White Plume Mountain next week with you all.
Squad for life. Can't wait. All right, see you on the flip side, bro.
Cool. I will sign out of the Discord now, and I'll say some parting words to everybody in the stream, and then we'll see you guys next week. So thanks again. You guys rock, and I will talk to you all later.